What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Raw review. This one is for November 7th, 1994. Raw starts off before the intro with Bret Hart and the British Bulldog making their way to the ring. Then, coming back from the intro, Owen Hart and the Anvil Jim Neidhart come out for their tag match. Bret and Bulldog get a jump start on Owen and Jim. Bulldog presses Owen over his head and sends him into Neidhart on the outside. I realize that Macho Man isn't on commentary. I think I was wondering about when he leaves to WCW on the last episode, and this might be when it happened. But back to the match, Owen gets chased around the ring by Bret, and again, something that doesn't make sense because the refs choose when to do this. He ignores what's going on inside the ring to go and get Bret Hart back in his corner, allowing Owen to run into the ring and hit the heart attack. Not only was the ref leaving his position in the ring dumb, but why did they need to distract the ref to hit a double team move? It's a tag team match, as long as they abide by the referee's 5 count. Again, what's the point of having rules if you're just going to break them and only do them when they fit the narrative to do a specific spot? Don't understand that. And obviously, this isn't the first time in WWE or in wrestling, and it's not going to be the last time we ever see this, but it's just a pet peeve of mine. Follow the rules or don't have any rules at all. Then they try another double team move, but Bulldog moves and Owen drop kicks Neidhart. Then, proving my point about them not needing to distract the ref, Bulldog comes in without being legal and he drop kicks Neidhart, who was holding onto Bret in front of the ref. The Hitman locks in the sharpshooter on Neidhart for the submission win. I would have thought that they would have stretched this out just a little bit more. And since Bret Hart is the WWF champion, they couldn't really do this match at Survivor Series because they're gonna have to do, or they're doing the one-on-one between him and Bob Backlund. So I guess they wanted to get this out of the way, this tag team match I'm talking about. And they, since again Bret Hart is a champion, they didn't want to put him in a Survivor Series tag match where it could have been Team Bret Hart and Bulldog versus Team Owen and Neidhart in a 5-on-5 elimination match. But next up, we get the Survivor Series update. They confirm the tag match between Doink and his Little Clowns versus Lawler and his Short Kings. Also, the submission match was also confirmed, and Bulldog will be in Bret's corner, and Owen will be in Backlund's corner with a towel in case they need to be thrown in. Before commercial, the King says that King's Court is coming up, and I think that they know that these segments are terrible because the way that McMahon asks him is in a sarcastic tone, like, stop lying because King's Court are never the highlight of Monday Night Raw. That could be a good sign because once Vince McMahon starts making fun of terrible segments, it's usually the end of them, right? So at least back in the day when he knew how to book wrestling shows. Then a squash match for Bam Bam Bigelow, and he gets the win with his Enziguri maneuver. He celebrates the win, and the Million Dollar Man pays him off after the match. So he not only does he get his paycheck from the WWF, but because he's under the Million Dollar Man and in his stable, he also gets an extra cut. And what does the Million Dollar Man really get out of this, to be honest? Like, he's not. What is the Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, getting out of this stable? He doesn't have any champions in them, right? Let me think. Right off the top of my head, I can't even think of anybody that's in his stable that's a champion or in contention for any titles. So what is Ted DiBiase getting out of this? He's actually losing money because he's paying these guys, but he's not getting anything in return. They're not selling any merchandise. I don't get it. That's funny. I just thought about that. But moving on, this in fact was the show where Macho Man left the WWF because Vince McMahon thanks him for his time and lets us know that they were not able to sign Randy Savage to a new WWF contract. Off to WCW he goes, and I'm actually going to be watching not only Survivor Series but also Starrcade, which is in December for WCW, and I'll check out what WCW is up to and if Macho Man shows up. Since Starrcade is the biggest show of the year, Macho Man is probably going to be in a title match or something like that because that's how every promotion does it. Well, yeah, at least back in the day, right? They make a big name for themselves in the WWF or WWE, and then they go on to whatever promotion they go to next and basically get into the title picture right away. So if Macho Man is going to be there in November, I'm guessing that's to set up something for a title match for not if not Starrcade, the pay-per-view after that probably, right? And also, I'm not a big WCW fan, so whatever is going on in WCW at the time in 1994, I have no idea what's going on there. So then we get the King's Court with the 123 Kid, aka 6. Not much is said before Bob Backlund runs out, but the Kid able to defend himself and knocks Bob to the outside. Bret, Owen, and Neidhart also make their way to the ring, but nothing else happens. But next up, Doink get a match versus a jobber, and he gets the win with the whoopee cushion, his top rope move. He waves at Lawler at commentary and celebrates with Dink, Wink, and Pink. I think that's their name. Vince is touching the King's crown and Doink comes in and takes it from him. Lawler gets mad as Doink puts the crown on Dink, but he tosses it back and Lawler claims a jewel is missing from the crown now. Something that did make me laugh was that there were kids sitting behind the King wearing Burger King crowns and going in on Lawler. They were just bad mouthing this guy behind his back. The short kings make their way out and call out the little clowns. Lawler holds them back and both sides stay at a standoff. The show ends with a backstage interview with Bret Hart. I was going to tell you what he said, but actually listen to how rough Bret delivers all of this in his promo.
Absolutely. I consider this a case of the new generation being pitted against the old generation. Now, not that I have any disrespect for Bob Backlund and the old generation, but as far as the new generation goes, the 1, 2, 3 kid is the best of the new generation. And as far as me being the World Wrestling Federation champion, I'm going to be watching his back. I'm going to be in his corner, cheering on the new generation.
All right, thank you very much, Bret Hart, the World Wrestling Federation champion.
All right, so you heard it there. Bret Hart doing some of his best work, I think, in 1994. So that's it for the show. I'm going to give this one a bad grade. The whole show was built around the King's Court versus Doinks R Us. Add to this, the tag match was hard to watch with all the unnecessary behind the rest back nonsense, and the fact that they let Macho Man go. Again, I wasn't a fan of his matches, but his promos were top notch, and if you put him in a program with another top star, not guys like Repo Man or Crush, he could still deliver decent matches for the time. But with that being said, 2 more episodes until Survivor Series with just terrible Raws leading up to it. The pay-per-views haven't been bad this year though. SummerSlam was okay, King of the Ring and Rumble were actually pretty good, and WrestleMania 10 was probably one of the best WrestleManias in its time up to that date in 1994. I'm also going to be keeping up with WCW leading up to when Nitro begins. I'm not guaranteeing a Nitro recap, but if I see something worth talking about, I'll mention it. It's still a year away, so I won't get into that stuff right now. But I gotta get into it now so that I know where the wrestlers and the storylines are leading up into where Nitro begins. Right? So, anyways, I'm out. I'll catch you guys on the next review.